Alright boys, I'm trying out a new style video today. It's going to be like a little story time, and this story basically takes place back in the summer of 2020. I was about maybe 18 or 19 years old at the time, and I was working full-time as a lifeguard for a pool that was right by my house. And I was getting a lot of hours. The pay wasn't good. I was only getting paid like $13 an hour, but I was getting hella hours. I was working 60-hour weeks for the whole summer, and I really liked it. It was cool because I felt like I was my own boss. I was the only person there at that pool. It was a small little apartment complex pool, and there was a pool manager who would stop by maybe once a month, just kind of check up on me and see how things were going. But for the most part, I was there by myself. I kind of had control over the whole pool, who comes in, who comes out, opening, closing the gate, whatever. I was there by myself, and it felt really cool because it was my first sense of real responsibility and independence. I guess like it's my first time where I worked a job where I didn't have someone micromanaging me or checking up on every little thing I was doing the whole entire time. So I really liked this sense of freedom. And after like the first couple weeks of getting settled in, I started to take advantage of my free time at the job. And there were like hours and hours where there'd be no one at the pool at all, where sometimes it would be raining and storming. I would have to shut down the pool, but I would still have to be there. So I started bringing my laptop, and I started bringing some self-improvement books. I think I was reading like How to Get Rich or Rich Dad Poor Dad, or books like that, like self-improvement finance type books. I was starting to read those, and at the same time I started to watch a bunch of finance and self-improvement YouTubers. Like I watched Graham Stephan. I watched this dude named Jung who made a bunch of cryptocurrency videos, and cryptocurrency was really like popular at the time. It was kind of like on the come up. Some people knew about it, but it was becoming very popular amongst like the younger generation, I would say. Like the whole gaming Fortnite generation, I guess they really started to hop on crypto back then. And there was like a bunch of people on TikTok talking about it. So naturally, combining crypto and self-improvement, I started to invest in crypto. I was making maybe like $2,000 a month, which felt like $1 million to me at the time. It felt like so much money. And I put like $2,000 into crypto, right? That was like a whole paycheck basically. And at the time I was investing in a bunch of stuff that like Jung and all these different crypto YouTubers told me to. I think I was in like XRP, Solana, Cardano, obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, all this different type of stuff. And long story short, I sold everything because everything went down, and I kind of just lost a bunch of money. But that's not the point of this story. The point of this story is during this time as a lifeguard, I kind of got motivated to take a chance, to take a long shot. And what I did is I drafted an email. I made a template of an email, basically going over my whole life story, kind of talking about how, I feel like college isn't for me. I feel like I have a greater purpose, and I feel like I can provide a lot of value. And I drafted this email template, and I sent it to 50 different YouTubers or social media people that I knew had valuable skills, people I knew that I could learn something valuable from, people who are making a bunch of money, and people who are also big on social media, because that's what I wanted to do at the time. At the time, I also had a TikTok that had around 30,000 followers, and I was kind of trying to figure out ways to scale my TikTok and just do social media full time. So I reached out to all these people, not expecting to hear a word back. I was like, fuck it. It takes no effort for me to just hit the send button on these emails, and if I get lucky, maybe one person will respond, and out of that one person, maybe I'll be able to actually, create a relationship with them. So that's what I did. And 2 people responded. One of them I forget, but one of them was Jung, the guy I mentioned earlier. I'm sure some of you guys know him too. He's pretty big in the crypto space, even today. He has like a YouTube channel with over 1 million followers or 1 million subs, and he makes a ton of money, and he talks about, investing and stuff. So I thought it was really cool. I felt like I kind of related to him because I'm also Asian. I felt like I had a similar upbringing. So I was really excited when I saw that he sent me an email back. We kind of met on Discord and got to know each other. And, I kind of basically told him that I was there for whatever he needed, whether that's remote work, where I could even come in person. I don't live too far away from him. So ultimately, we kind of negotiated, and we agreed on having like a week where I kind of worked for him for free to kind of test it out and see what kind of services I could offer him and stuff. Only problem was at that time, I didn't have a car. I have Asian parents. They didn't get me a car when I turned 16, and frankly, they were super against me getting a car, even if it was my own money. They just thought it was unnecessary. I could walk places, and they just thought it was dangerous. So, didn't have a car, but I still wanted to work for him. So, after talking to him, we kind of came to the conclusion that for this whole week trial period, he would pay for my Ubers to get there, which it was super far. It was like an hour away. But either way, he would pay for my Ubers to get there and back, and I would kind of work for him and see how everything goes. And, the first day I got there, everything was really cool. He seemed like a cool, genuine dude. And immediately I was getting to work, whether it was just, unboxing packages or doing stuff around the house. I was just always doing something, which was cool, kind of seeing the behind the scenes of the whole social media business. And pretty quickly, I was able to do actual things that were important towards the success of his channel. Like, I started working on script writing for brand deals and sponsorships. I remember specifically, I was working on one for TurboTax, which he was doing a sponsorship with, and it kind of opened up my eyes to see how much money these people were making just off these simple, 1 minute ads, basically. And he was making a ton of money, dude. It was crazy to kind of see that from behind the scenes. Felt like I was actually, doing something important too, because I was working on, what would eventually make him a bunch of money. And everything was going good. It was a super good experience, but unfortunately, pretty soon after that, I had to stop working for him because of the transportation issues. In my initial email that I had sent out, I kind of mentioned that I didn't have a car, and if I wanted this to be like a full-time thing, you don't have to pay me, but I need a place to live. So we were kind of talking about that, and ultimately it just didn't work out because of the transportation issues. But the moral of the story is that, so many people nowadays aren't even willing to try. Like, it's something so simple. Just take that chance, take that risk, because you never know what could come out of it. If I had never sent that email, I would have never met this dude. I would have never gotten this experience, which was, kind of eye-opening to me that, social media is actually like a real thing. Because obviously you see all these people online making money, but it's different when you see it from behind the scenes. When you see it in person, it kind of shows you that it actually is realistic. It gives you proof of concept, which is huge to me. But it just goes to show you guys, never, just always take the chance. You never know what could come out of something so small, whether that's sending emails out to your favorite creators, whether that's applying for random jobs that you see on Craigslist or whatever. The point is, just don't give up and always try new things, no matter how crazy or unlikely they might seem. When I was sending out those emails, I knew and I was expecting no people to respond back, but that didn't matter. Like, certain things, it's ultimately just a numbers game. Like, if you hit up 2,000 people, at least 10 of them are going to respond, and out of those 10, at least you're going to get one opportunity. So it's a numbers game, whether it's applying to internships, jobs, or even doing what I did and just emailing your favorite creators. It's a numbers game, and just take that risk, because you never know where it could lead you guys.